Hello, this is Jen August. This is the Coaches Success Of interview series. I am here with the fantastical Cindy God James, and I just want to jump in and start interviewing her. However, I would like to share with you about her beautiful journey as a human. So here it is. She is a vibrational energy amplifier. You might already be feeling that. An advanced pranic healing practitioner, a certified holy fire Reiki 3 master, a master level sound and vibrational healing practitioner, a noble of the light of the Institute for Metaphysical and an ordained or metaphysics, an ordained minister of the way of love, performing rites of passage such as weddings, memorial services, and family blessings. Ooh, we got a thumbs up. All right. In addition, she is a spiritual advisor, a stand-up healer, the first one I've ever met, and probably the only one because that's who she is. A stand-up healer, an inspirational speaker, a teacher of self-transformation, lasting happiness and vibrational health, a holistic health coach certified by the Columbia University's Teacher College. Cindy started her career as a corporate litigation attorney. She is now a practitioner of universal law, and she likes to say, rather than man-made law, universal law. She has traveled the world for decades and has received and still receives the most ancient and esoteric teachings, along with leading edge thought and transformational programs, which she now uses to her fullest capacity to serve global freedom, prosperity, joy, and all the good things we long for, and so naturally and unequivocally deserve. Cindy is also the founder and energetic instrument of Infinity Unleashed. Actually, it's
on Cindy Unleashed now.
Cindy Unleashed, the Cindy James Project, and is the founder and creative conduit of, drumroll please, the Empress of Infinite Supply and Radiant Love of the Galactic Council of Women, all genders. Welcome. I don't know why I'm moving. I'm just feeling it. That's Cindy's self-created title on the council. Everyone who participates can make a superhero or council title. I'm working on mine for themselves too. So powerful and so much fun. Welcome, Cindy.
Jen, thank you so much. I'd like to get to know me more after hearing that. I mean, she sounds lovely.
She sounds amazing.
Maybe I could go out for a meal with her and, have a session with her.
Absolutely. It reminds me of that. We got to change that Howard Jones song. Like, instead of I'd like to get to know you well, I'd like to get to know me well. I'd like to get to know. Yeah. So I know, right? It makes you want to ask yourself out, doesn't it?
It really is the truth. We are unlimited beings, and I will always be getting to know me. You will always be getting to know you. And the joy by which we experience getting to know has to do with our perspective. Like our chosen view or perspective of ourselves is the key to our happiness and our power and our prosperity and our service. And I like to say, I do like me pretty well. I like when I go out with me, we pretty much always get along. We like the same food. We go to bed at the same time generally. Like we're really pretty, simpatico, Cindy and I.
Which is a beautiful thing.
Which is a wonderful thing.
And a hard one thing on this planet, to actually like and love yourself, right?
It really is. And I have come by this after decades of devotion to it. And there are still times when I am in what I would call, my best friend Jenn and I, we used to call it the F me symphony. Like, I'm not going to say that word. It's like, F me, like, the whole street.
Yeah. Did you say the F me symphony?
Well, I was going to say, the whole F you like word.
Yeah, no, but I love that. The F me. It's like,
there's actually a song called that. And we would get into that string with how bad we were or our family, whatever the situation was and the world was. And that, there's a certain amount of pleasure, like from the negative current, meaning sensation that goes through that, and you kind of feel like you've done something after you've had a good exposition of all the things wrong with yourself, everyone you know in humanity. But what
Yes.
happens with that is that I had, and human beings do, cap their power and only create more of those things that trouble us.
Yes.
And so I have had the great blessing to be so miserable
Yes.
while seemingly being so successful
Mm-hmm.
that I had no choice, being who I was, but to seek out every means I could to free myself from the bindings of my own mind and from situations that seemed to continually show up to stymie the free flow of happiness and prosperity and joy and natural pleasure and love.
Mm.
And so those things that you read in my bio, I have traveled the world. I have meditated at the foot of the Himalaya mountains, which, by the way, it's Himalayas there, which is so cool. Himalayas. I have been in Ephesus in Turkey and sang the prayer of St. Francis with my mom, who's no longer in the body, in the place in Christianity where St. Paul spoke to the Ephesians. I have had the opportunity to go to Machu Picchu and to celebrate 11/11/11, November 11th of 2011, which symbolizes the opening of the gates of heaven and earth, with an incredible shaman, Jorge Luis Delgado, and a group of people from a beautiful healing arts school that I was part of for years called Inner Source, and even had my third of 4 children come with me on that and
Wow.
experienced that with him. He was 14 at the time. And what was so cool was in every one of these ceremonies that ended up by Lake Titicaca at what's called Aramu's Doorway, which is like where the children of the sun, the solar disk, that lore comes through, they would always choose the oldest in the group and the youngest in the group. And one of my dear friends, Bharati, was the oldest, and my son, Eric, was usually the youngest. And he got participated in those. And I've also immersed myself in nutrition. I love food. I love finding out what a wild blueberry can do for me and how I can raise the elevation of a really great Philly cheesesteak at some point. And everything in between, from supplements and herbs to mainstream medicines, and all of what's available for us humans to have a beautiful life. And I will tell you what I've learned is that my mind can have all that candy, but it's so much more simple than we've ever known. And now is the time to find out how simple happiness can be, because we know how complicated unhappiness is. How simple prosperity can be, because we know how torturous lack can be. How simple health can be, because we suffer at the hands of dis-ease. So with joy and with enthusiasm and cheerfulness and a great deal of faith and groundedness, here we go. Here comes the Galactic Council of Women, all genders welcome, worldwide launch.
Open to the public for the first time today.
Yes.
So
what just fell was a book. It was called Beams from the Avatar, which means radiant love
it's
and
a message
from the highest.
It's like applause from the highest. So you know that song, What's Love Got to Do with It? What's love? I'm hearing, what's imagination got to do with it, Cindy?
It's not a secondhand experience, as Tina Turner would sing. I think like is a secondhand emotion. Like is just what your limited personality thinks you need in order to feel safe and good and belonging. Like is so different than love. And love and imagination and whatever you call the divine creative force, synonyms. There's so many synonyms for the divine creative force. And imagination, I get so excited when I talk about imagination. So I'm going to invite all of us, including my precious being, to just take a deep breath. And that feels good. In through the nose and out through the mouth, relaxing our jaws, our shoulders, our pelvic floors, which is that place that we sit on. We tend to hold tight. That's where tight ass comes from. We don't want to be a tight ass. I don't know how to say that. I keep swearing.
Yes.
Okay. And so relax all of that and let our feet relax. Let our hands open if you feel that you're fisted. And even let them lay upwards on your wherever you're sitting, like so your fingers are like multi-antennas calling in the highest light for you. Because right in this moment, rushing in, wherever you are in time and space, because we're basking in the eternal now that our breath cultivates. Each one of us is having arrive at our doorstep, at our breath step, exactly what we've been longing for, praying for, needing, wanting, talking about. And it's better than anything that you've ever thought of before. So as we're breathing then, I'm going to share about the magic, the power of unlimited imagination. Because when we suffer, we are subjected to limited imagination.
Yes.
Remember Star Trek back in the day, Jen?
Indeed.
So I'm going to use my handy dandy shine my face for the broadcast thing. When Captain Kirk would open his thing and do
Right. Yes.
you know,
it was like a makeup thing.
that was groundbreaking back in the day.
Right.
You know, beam me up, Scotty, and all that kind of stuff. Or like Bones would put his tricorder. I'm going to use this bell from Peru, like his tricorder over a patient and know how they were doing. That imagination has come to fruition.
It sure has.
I mean, so crazy great. And Carl Sagan would talk about that, about the power of imagination. Every forward thought, new emerging power thinker in humanity, from Aristotle to Einstein to spiritual leaders like the Buddha or Wayne Dyer or anyone in between, has always talked about the power of the imagination. And I believe that the secret to this power of imagination is not just what we're thinking, but what we're feeling. And it's not just me. The body of wisdom that comes from Esther Hicks, Abraham Hicks, flowing through her, and so many other modalities in the one universal truth.
Yes.
Talks about imagining and creating, meaning this. It's one thing to think a thought, because we definitely will create by thinking those thoughts. It's another thing to think the thought and then consciously give ourselves the feeling of that thought. So in this moment, this broadcast today is about experiencing the power of unlimited imagination now. And there's only one now. So if you're watching this via recording, we're in the eternal now, where time and space don't exist, where the fleeting past or the fleeting present or the imagined future or really projected future do not exist. So in this moment, just if you want to, you can close your eyes, but you can keep your eyes open if you want. Let yourself imagine how you would like to see your body form. The health of it, the strength of it, the flexibility of it, the size of it, the immune system capability of it, the cardiovascular system free flowing, energy, blood, air, digestive system in full health, the symphony, the orchestra called the endocrine system, which includes the master gland, the pineal, also known as the God or divine gland, directing pure love and light to you. The muscular skeletal systems, the nervous system, every system of your body in full health and radiance. And then imagine how it would feel to have all the squiggles that you could ever possibly need and more, which is what I call money. Squiggles on paper or a screen.
I love
So
that.
pick a figure, and people often limit this, but I encourage you to pick a figure into the way 7, 8 figures. And see that on your bank statement or on your computer bank statement. And breathe in the relief of how that would feel. Knowing that you don't have to worry or even really think about it much anymore. It's just self-sustaining. And then imagine how it would feel in your body to be in a romantic relationship with someone who sees you, honors you, reveres you, has faith in you, because he or she or they is giving themselves that experience and their authority. That they love the feeling of being in love with you and supporting your highest experience of joy and creativity and compassion and more. Someone who you can experience the sensuality and sexuality that's possible for human beings. And allowing yourself, imagining this moment, letting those vibrations meld and integrate into every bit of your physical and energetic system, literally causing your chakras to bloom wide open in radiant health. Imagine what it's like to love unhindered, that you can just pour your devotion, your unique attributes with great respect to someone who's willing to receive you. And then imagine together your joint shared mission is to not just please and help each other grow into your fullest potential, but to radiate the love that you share to the entire world for the upliftment of all humanity. Breathe into the sensations of what that would feel like, not just the thoughts. And then keeping these all building cumulatively, give yourself the experience of living a charmed life where everywhere you go, everything is always working out for you. And how it would feel to scoot into a parking spot just when you need it. When you forget something, when you're leaving the house, all of a sudden there's, remembering that important thing. Where your family members and friends show up just when needed. And they delight you and you delight them with living in praise of the magnificence of this playground that we are now reforming from pure joy, from pure, unadulterated, creative life force energy. And then imagine breathing in. You might need to really breathe and relax and let this flow. Imagine letting yourself look around this whole great planet with the perspective of the universal eye, with the perspective of seeing everyone and everything waking up and raising into their truth, connecting into the universal mind of oneness, laying down the weapons of shame and self-loathing and self-deprecation and fear and hostility and rage and resentment, and rising with their very breath, which is synonymous with life itself, rising with their very breath into a life of unbounded love, acceptance, power, joy, compassion, service, laughter, prosperity, abundance, humor, and so much more. And coming together like children who adore each other on the playground to play and make something new for the sheer sake of playing. And then let this imprint radiate as if you have just jumped in a beautiful crystal shimmering lake. And as you do it, and cannonball if you'd like to, and the ripples go out to everyone and everything, not only on our beautiful planet Earth, but into space, into our solar system, into the Milky Way galaxy, into all of the galaxies, into the universe, into the infinite unknown. So be it, so it is. Amen. Alleluia. Yippee-ki-yay.
Woody hooty. Wow. Thank you for that. So powerful. And I knew we were going to talk about imagination and activating it, talk about it, but I just really feel like you just shared this beautiful activation with everybody listening. And I feel amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
That's what was called for today. I say that my job is to listen to what my intuition, my deeper soul tells me, the greater infinite all that is, and to listen to the calling of everyone and everything that can hear this, that longs for more. And imagination, if you look up the word imagination, I love it. It comes from the Latin, like imaginare, and it means to picture oneself. Like to literally picture oneself. You pictured yourself. I pictured myself today with you, Jen. You pictured yourself with me. It's how we did it.
Yeah.
Everyone that's listening, you've pictured yourself listening to this in time and space. You pictured yourself getting up even if you didn't want to. You pictured yourself having to poop when you felt your colon starting to spasm. I mean, that's fabulous. I mean, there is nothing so sacred that it's not mundane. It's the merging of everything. And that imagination is our creative power. And when it is unlimited and not suppressed by the limits of what we were told to be good when we were little, and God bless our parents, they did the best they could, just like God bless yourself as a parent, and you might hear coming back at you and hear the repercussions of your flaws. But we're all. I would like to say, I had this therapist once, whenever I would say, well, everyone's doing the best they can, he would say, no, they're not. And I would think, are they not? I mean, I don't really know the answer to that question, but I have great compassion for what motivates us consciously, unconsciously to do anything. And that the hope for us is to be, I call it a forgiveness ninja. To be in relationship on this planet, forgive.
Yes, right.
For this interview today that I've known about for a long time, is certainly instrumental in my life. I have chosen, because of the astrological date, I chose it months ago because of the astrological date being auspicious for everyone to have more energy from the heavens and the earth. For some reason in my head, I thought it was 3:30, not 3 Eastern time. And I was okie dokie doke getting in the shower. And I was like, sweet mother of God. And I've run out totally naked, soaking wet, to my calendar and my phone. There's still a trail of water from my bathroom to my kitchen right now. 3:00, Cindy. And I will say that was the whispering of these greater forces saying, little Cindy Lou Who,
put on some clothes.
It's 3:00.
You're going to be on video.
No shaving the legs today, friend. No second shampoo.
That's right. Well, no, we won't be doing the leg section today.
So everything is always working out for us. And that's what I want to imagine. I say that to myself in the morning. I listen to inspirational music and messages throughout my entire day. And that is what I am ready to pulsate to the world, because I have no choice but not to.
Beautiful. Well, I'm feeling it. And one of the things I want to ask you about, as I was getting ready for this interview and really, digging into the Galactic Council and being so inspired, becoming a member, is that I love this concept, and I want you to share about it because I think it's so important that you can have the time of your life changing the world. What does it mean to change the world, and how can you start doing it in this moment?
I always love that question, because I've been asking that of myself since I was a young person. Like, why does it have to be so hard to be happy and be loving? And having the time of your life while changing the world, you can have the worst time of your life and change your world. by repeating, what people call victim consciousness is not that bad things don't happen. We do feel the pain and the hurt of being victim, unless you're one of these super huge enlightened masters, which I mean, fabulous. I'm not quite one of those. Maybe a few more lifetimes if you believe in that. You don't have to believe in that to be on the Galactic Council, blah, blah, blah. Whatever floats your boat in your imagination. But you can have the time of your life and change the world for the better by knowing that everything passes, that if our thoughts get stuck in the hurts, that's what we'll continue to create. And if our thoughts get stuck in the possibilities for joy, that's what we'll create. And then what you find is the magic is that the process is as joyful as the result. And there is no seamless difference. And the only way to have sustainable positive change in your mind, in your body, in your relationships, in your home, in your families, in your communities, in your countries, in your world, in your solar systems and beyond, is by finding the truth of what we are. There's a beautiful quote that starts with, learn the art of taking a stand on the truth within. I actually have only one bumper sticker on my car, and I've only ever had one on.
Oh,
and
wow.
That's the whole quote. And it ends with, your life will come with never-ending sweetness. That will be what the result of your life is. And I don't know the whole quote by heart. It's by Meher Baba, the Indian spiritual avatar and master who dropped his body in the 60s. But I love that quote.
Can you repeat what it is again? Just that energy of it?
It goes like this: learn the art of taking a stand on the truth within.
Beautiful.
And when you do, there will be a dissolution of fear. These are my words. A dissolution of fear. And what happens is there'll be ever renewing energy, and your life will be just pulsating with never ending sweetness. And I'm living that now. I have gone through the valley of the shadow of death. I mean, I could tell in this present moment, in the present fleeting moment, a tale of woe. I could pull up a whole list of things about why I could be crippled right now emotionally. And sometimes I do kind of smoke that pipe of negativity and indulge in it. But what I find is there's a difference between sharing something that you're struggling with and for the sake of healing it. And there's another thing with indulging it to distract yourself and feel the feelings of it that when you're then shifting into the positive current might feel like nothing and death to really our ego. And that shifting now and being able to reside in the current of the truth within me and continue to use the art of it. Wow. That's a whole lot of fun. And by the way, it's a whole boatload of pleasure.
Yes. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Having fun, changing the world. That is just so gorgeous. It reminds me of a quote from the Dalai Lama, which is one of my favorite quotes, which is, our purpose in life is to be happy.
Oh. Let's breathe that in for a moment.
Yeah.
Our purpose, and then exhale in life. Inhale is to be, exhale happy. And I will add to that, like what I have said to myself for years, is the purpose of creation is to experience love in relationship. And love is not like. Remember, like is just, you did what I want, so I'm not going to spit on you and I'll give you whatever. Like is
almost like tolerance. Yeah.
Like is a whole different ball of wax. I mean, it's fabulous when you like what you love. That's magnificent. But really, the choice to like what you love comes from the loving, not the liking. So you can be in the state of being in love with someone who does things that maybe years ago would make you knucking futz. I have a friend, Susan, who says that. It's one of my favorite things. She also says this phrase, when you pronounce something wrong, you put the emphasis on the wrong syllable. The emphasis on the wrong syllable. I love her. She's a Galactic Council member, too.
Woo!
And so that kind of like that comes from your smaller self wants that you've built, I need to have this to feel safe and happy, that might make you feel a little relief for a while from the state of wanting, does not bring you into the unlimited power of loving. And so to be in love with yourself, not as Narcissus only knowing that that was just him in the story, but the truth of self-awareness, of seeing yourself as part of a whole.
Mm.
That's what's so exciting about self-awareness and self-growth.
Mm.
And I want to tell you what just happened to me right now, Jen, which is if you take nothing from this interview, I want everyone that wants to take a just extraordinary amount of support for their own personal lives, for the world. It is here for the taking. It is ripe fruit, ripe fruit just for the taking. It's the age of that right now to get us through this. There's so much ripe fruit. But I want you to what I would like to say is, I am at an age, being 56, where my memory seems to, just fleetingly go off into the ethers in the middle of a sentence. But that just happened to me. Now, I could fudge around it. And I could talk for hours. I was a master speaker, communications speaker, first debater. I did mock trial. I was a lawyer, trial lawyer, blah-de-blah, blah. I remember once my brother Michael using the phrase, you can bludgeon people with words, like our family members have that kind of ability. But what I know now is that when my mind takes a holiday or an instant sabbatical and I can't remember the details of what I was saying, I don't beat myself up anymore. I think that is a divine opportunity to remember the truth within.
Yes.
And I can't remember the detail of the train of thought that I was just saying, or where my keys were, or why I went to the refrigerator, or why I went upstairs, like all those things that human beings do, or where was I going when I was turning left. What I can remember is that love alone is real, that I am a spark of all that is, and so is everybody else, and that I am held in a pool of love that will always wash away any of my wounds and refresh me to live another moment, another day.
And
I think the purpose of forgetting.
Absolutely. And I see another purpose, which is knowing you and getting to know you, and those of us who are aware of how much we download. I think sometimes forgetting is because we're getting so much information in the moment. And it might just be like a beautiful download traffic jam. That's kind of that's the energy of what I felt. But and I want to ask you, because I when you say this, when I've heard you say this, it makes me really happy because I know it's true. And I also feel like I want people to understand why you feel this way, which is, why do you think that health, happiness, and prosperity is our soul right? And how can we start opening up to that right now?
Okay. Our breath is the only vital function that we can activate or will go on for us automatically. That's why it's so important. It's why ever since, any shamanic culture or enlightened master or actually traditional mainstream thought, Harvard Medical School has done such a great job of pioneering, like decades ago, mind-body studies. And Herbert Benson was a leader, and is a leader in that. I think he's still in the body. And so the power of the breath, what it does on an energetic level is, I believe, what it does for me is I say yes to my incarnation rather than no. Mm-hmm. I start to inhabit the yes current. So the minute you take a deep breath in, you are dissolving your no, which is our limits, which is our baby dinosaur brain imagination, size imagination, and we're inhabiting our like huge avataric light being imagination. It also, on a very practical level, opens up our chakra systems. And Jen, when you were just talking about downloads, I like to call them uplights sometimes too.
I love that too.
Uplight it depending on whatever's happening. Those downloads literally look like, to someone who has this either natural ability or cultivated ability, to open up our chakra system, which is the energetics or the electromagnetic field that science can measure now.
Yes.
It has to do with our wellness and our unlimited power. For example, I'm just going to say, my mind goes off like the Family Circus cartoon, which is, I love that about me. But when, like, let's say a child is trapped under a car and an 80-year-old grandmother lifts up the car, what happens is their Meng Meng chakra, which is over the adrenals, opens up huge, and there is a sucking in of prana and life force energy. That is how that specifically happens from the energetic point of it. And I like to say science doesn't discover much new. It just realizes what has always been. And there is cutting edge research on the power of breath. So taking a deep breath in and then knowing that our cortisol levels, our stress hormones go down when we breathe. Our endorphins, our pleasure hormones, ooh la la, go up. Serotonin is increased. Our body starts to move in harmony. Our blood pressure lowers if it was high. Our heart rate moderates. We come in vibrational alignment. The Heart Math Institute is another incredible force for the science of spirituality, which is really just oneness. And they talk about heart rate variability. I've had the blessing to study that. So there's so much value to our breath. And it's just like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, where at the end, that like all she had to do was click her heels 3 times and say, there's no place like home. And Glinda the Good Witch said, well, you wouldn't have believed it before, love. It was so easy. So our breath really is the easiest, most natural way to access this health, happiness, and prosperity. And it's our soul right because it's really our true nature. Nobody comes to this planet, I believe, and I'm sure there are people that disagree with me, so take what you like and leave the rest, okay. The Master Stephen Coe of the pranic healing lineage, when people don't like what he says that he was born with an amazing ability to not care what anyone else thinks. I mean,
what a gift.
He just says, whatever,
I love that.
I just love that.
Whatever.
Whatever. And there's also, I heard this wonderful prayer that the morning prayer and the evening prayer is just one word, one different word, but each time. The morning prayer is whatever. And then the evening prayer as you go to sleep is, oh, well.
I love that.
It's like pure surrender.
That is so fun.
And now I like to say, whatever, universe, delight me. And oh, well, that was really fabulous.
I like that.
So I believe that our true nature, we don't come to this planet to suffer unnecessarily. We come to play a great game. I believe that creation, like in the analogy of a computer game, is the greatest computer game ever written. And these vast computer games that the young people and older people play nowadays is a mere shadow of the intricate, incredible system of the greater computer programmer in the sky. I don't really believe it, but the greater force. And that we come here and we have these challenges, but the whole point of it is to access our true power and experience love and relationship until we realize that foe is no foe at all. It's us in another suit. Like, I am your father, kind of thing. It's not something separate. So I believe that's what we come here for.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. And another thing that's beautiful is that in a moment I'm going to ask you to talk about the Galactic Council of Women All Genders. Welcome. But I just want to share my experience because in researching this for this interview, I felt really called to become a member. And it's like from the moment I signed up, I just felt just lighter and things were more possible. And I just felt, a little just more held, and I'm starting to see some things fly in faster that I've been working on and I just wanted to share that because, there's such an incredible power in that experience. Literally when I signed up, I was like, boom. And I was like, wow, I want to, is this an experience that you hear a lot from members, when they say yes to this and hook into this. I keep seeing it as a mothership. I don't know, but hook into this energy, like.
And I say, fasten your seatbelts when you do plug in too. Like if you want happiness, health, and prosperity for yourself and more, it's big energy. And Jenn, what you describe is a universal truth. And I never know how to say this guy's name. It's like Goethe, Goethe. that looks like Goethe, but it's Goethe, like the philosopher. I believe he was a philosopher that said, at the moment of commitment, the universe conspires to assist you. At the moment of commitment, the universe conspires to assist you, and you can commit to smallness and fear, and the universe will conspire to assist you because it's just a mirror. It's our tool. It's our loving servant, and the universe will give it, anthropomorphize the universe, will give it sentient powers, would wants more than anything to assist us in the highest joy and pleasure of humanity, but it will do whatever we author. And so I hear this time and time and again, and I see it in the lives of the Galactic Council members. I like to say what happened was in May was the Galactic, I sent out a birth announcement through paperless post to friends and family members and people I knew. And like, come see the baby, kind of thing from Saigon, see the baby. And it was the launching for that community to build the energy. Those original first wave members who I know like really shine the light and they believe in me and they believe in themselves and they believe in us collaborating. They built such an incredible energy, and I've seen the shifts in their lives that they have augmented. What the Galactic Council of Women does, and what someone who is a vibrational energy healer or amplifier, what they do is they, because of their own great blessings to be able to cultivate the highest and healthiest healing for themselves and be able to interface, what I say, I can interface effortlessly through some effort with the greatest resources of the heavens and the earth. I get to hold that space and see someone in their highest light, and that is literal alchemy. What led into gold is the transformation into the highest potential. And I come with some gifts, and not just unique to me, but they're unique in how they all play in Cindy Lou Who. I literally am a planetary force. And I could be and was a planetary force for my will be done. This is the way I think it should be. Should, I think, is the only curse word, by the way. It just is like, don't should on me and I won't should on you. I like that. Coulds and woulds. There's actually a song that says, don't should on me. It's really like great. But I believe, I just lost my train of thought. So I'm going to take a moment and just take a deep breath.
So,
moment of commitment, the universe conspires to assist you.
That's right.
So let me just tell you, I'm flowing it. I have no choice because I have already committed to using every bit of my being to serve my highest and healthiest happiness and health and prosperity, and to serve every single being, and conscious and unconscious, sentient and organic and Mother Earth, everything. Nothing brings me more joy, and nothing has ever lit up my entire life like this.
Woo! That's how I feel when you say that. So what can people do who are listening and just, they're feeling it. They're feeling your message. They want to be a part of this movement to make the world a better place and make their world a better place in the easiest and most fun, joyful way possible.
What I suggest always to people is that first, spend every bit of time that you can marinating yourself in positivity and universal truth. Every bit. And there are multitudes of resources. And through the Galactic Council, because I have that kind of being and brain, and it's part of my job to have my finger on the pulse of the highest light energy to serve humanity, I am routinely, just pop, 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 pop. And I send that to council members and I include them in the energy of it. So marinate yourself in everything that you can find. Also decide, make a commitment and write it down to what your true north is, what you stand for, what you intend to accomplish, but from the present tense. I am vibrantly healthy, overflowingly happy, and I am continually growing in prosperity. And I share that with everyone and everything. And then I would suggest, and I think this is the way to make it sustainable and the incredible, crazy, great fun of it. Like, I have fun listening to this stuff, and I have fun writing the greatest shit down ever. That's really wonderful. It's just kind of my cup of tea. But what floats my boat, what gets my chakras going, what gets my life a living, and I'm going to say it, orgasm. My life is livingly orgasmic, full of pleasure, including this moment. What I'm feeling in my body right now is that I have tingles on the top of my head, my crown, coming through my body. And like when Harry met Sally, if you want to have a little bit what she's having, you know, after she does that in the Italian restaurant, is to I mean, I love that scene. What I did the night before I took the bar exam was instead of studying well into the night, I went to see, because it was new in the movie theaters, When Harry Met Sally.
That was a good
And
choice.
I laughed in preparation to remember all that wisdom. And I'll say to all students now too, there's a universal mind. I always knew it. Plug into the universal mind before you take any test. I have my own feelings about education and what is coming for education. The Galactic Council is an extraordinary proponent of freeing the bindings around education. And that I feel with the joy of a warrior mother bear determination. But yet lest I digress. Lest I digress. Going back to what I recommend wholeheartedly and I invite is to join the Galactic Council of Women, all genders welcome, and allow yourself the seeming magic miracle of joining your deepest soul intentions with a group of like-spirited, hearted, bodied, minded group of people who have their own unique flavor of existence, their own unique flavor of what they're going to bring to the world, and lend your voice, your consciousness, your squiggles, which literally money is just what people agree has power, your power agreements to the venture of reimagining the world in accordance with universal love, acceptance, hope, and more. There has never been a time and never been a forum, and I say this with great humility, you know, and when I say humility is that there's this wonderful quote that says that false modesty begets weakness and greatness begets humility. And there's a quote from Corinthians in the Christian Bible that says, what do you possess that was not a gift from the Creator? And it goes on to say, then why do you boast as if it were yours? I know that I am magnificent because look at what the universe made. Look at what the infinite divine made. I knew there was a greater God when I birthed my first precious daughter because I didn't do that. I just had sex and didn't die for 9 months and that baby came out. Like, that's all I did.
Right,
you know? Like that, there is an incredible magic and genius to existence, and we are part of it. And I had an experience with my youngest child, and I would like to share this now because this is like the hope that's almost beyond what most people's mind can imagine as we see a world with so many people skedaddling to the next side. So many souls dropping their bodies and so many souls and bodies that are working tirelessly to try to prevent that from happening in so many ways, whether it's through disease or disharmony or violence, is that I just want to take a breath because I want to in this moment honor and say that I feel and see from the perspective of great compassion how much anxiety, depression, pain, fear there is in the world. I have felt it myself. I do feel it sometimes now. And that when we come together like this, in this forum, in a forum that busts shame and its corresponding corrosive, selfish pride, and we come and pledge allegiance to the deeper truths of what can be possible, there is nothing that can't happen. There is a quote from Grandmaster Chow Kok Sui, who was the originator of the pranic healing lineage, and prana meaning life force energy. Prana is actually the energy that rides on oxygen molecules. Hence the breath, hence fresh air, hence why being in nature is so freaking good for us. And he said that miracles do not operate outside of the laws of nature. They actually use the hidden ones most people are unaware of. And he made this body of ancient wisdom available, and I've had the great blessing to be a student of it for many years. So I want to share what propelled me into this.
Yes.
When I was pregnant with my fourth child, I had gone for a free energy healing at my dear friends, they're chiropractors and coordinated health center. I mean, they're just one of the most amazing groups of people in the world. And I got to be present for the birth of their first baby, and to be able to have the first place they went after the birth of their second child to my home, and to be the godmother to the precious third child, Kendall. And I am a godmother to the most amazing three girls and one man, and also fairy godmother to a plethora of children who I have had the blessing to be in healership with their parents during pregnancy and beyond, and to be present as like an energy doula at their birth. And this is what propelled me into it. I'll say, I'll get a free energy healing, like free. I mean, I had three children. In order to afford living and not practicing law anymore, I shopped at government surplus locations, which I thought was great, canceled any kind of long distance phone, clip coupons like a queen. Boy, is that a lot of fun. I mean, just to manage, and used my imagination. However, when I became pregnant from that energy healing, apparently like an egg must have flown out of my ovary, and then I was almost the Virgin Mary conception. I didn't know what happens. As a matter of fact, when I went to my doctors, I convinced them that I had some sort of like ovarian cancer. Erase. That's a way. Whenever you say something negative, I learned from one of my great teachers from Illuminating Lives that, our word is our wand, as Florence Scovel Shinn, this great thinker of the last century, said. So just erase. So I'm going to erase. So he sent me for an ultrasound, and what they did was they went and got the radiologist, and the radiologist comes back, and my husband at the time was away on a business trip, and I just thought, oh my God, it's such a terrible diagnosis, because they're getting the radiologist, and they said, Cindy, we'd like to show you something. And they turned it over, and I'm ready to see whatever you can see on that, ink blot test called an ultrasound.
Right.
We want to show you your baby's heartbeat.
Oh.
And I was pregnant, and I didn't know it. And at that time, I had something called PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. So I only got my period. I said, period. I'm going to say menstruation now. Everybody's safe. Oh my God.
I think
every 6 months.
They can handle it. Yeah, they can handle it.
Exactly. It's, for women, again, releasing the shame around the form that actually creates and gestates new life. I only got my period once every 6 months, and I had that healing right when I had my period. So there was no way I could be pregnant. And so that child, I was then told, was going to, after a series of tests through the process, either die in utero, internal transfusions. I was recommended by a high-risk perinatologist at 22 weeks that the prudent thing to do would be to abort him. And I did not. And I did not because of I'm not espousing any like religious views, whatever, in that way. I asked one question. I said, is this a danger to me to bring him to term? And the doctor said no, but it would be prudent. I said, save your moral opinion for yourself. Yeah. I want your medical opinion.
Yep.
And then we went to Children's Hospital for multiple visits. And then I started to study energy healing, because I thought, using my lawyer brain for the alternative world, like whatever fired that egg off, if that could save my baby, I was going to do it. No matter what crazy thing was going to, I was going to do it. And Children's Hospital every week, ultrasounds. He was born. We were sent to Children's Hospital at 3 days old for him to have surgery, reconstructive surgery on his internal organ to save his life. I was 3 days postpartum with my fourth child. When your milk comes in, you get feverish, and it's the thing. I feel feverish right now because I'm having a hot flash, which is an surge. So I'm reliving it in some sense. And they did what I will say are hideous tests on him. And a doctor came out who I remember with a Russian accent saying, why is this baby here? And I started to list all of the things. And he said, your baby is perfectly healthy. Take him home.
Whoa!
And that was the catalyst for me to use everything in my power. And he was a catalyst for so much, including that he is now identifying as they. and is bringing healing. I didn't understand it at first. It took me a few years because of the old noggin and, the societal
Programming. Yep.
But I love, and still this precious human being and all of my offspring are springing off of my form. I love that word, or my descendants are continually call me to grow more and more into the truth of what I am. So that is, and that wonderful offspring is 20 years old right now, and a healthy, vibrant light of the world, and a sophomore in college, junior. They do that a lot. Is a junior.
Powerful.
So that's a little bit.
So that woke you up to what is possible energetically, and connect, and was a precursor to this beautiful space that you've created.
Literal miracles.
Miracles. That's such a powerful story, Cindy. It's so, so gorgeous. And so it's also such a metaphor for what we can take in our lives and reconstruct energetically.
Yes.
Yeah. The Galactic Council of Women has such a beautiful mission and vision for the world. And I love that you also help members discover and expand their personal visions with member spotlights and mission ignition group sessions. Tell me a little bit more about that beautiful space you're making.
What's amazing is this is a continual evolving, manifesting, joyful gift. And one of the things that's manifesting in this time frame right now, in addition to all the amazing benefits that the Galactic Council has been bringing to current members, and now is going to be bringing, is I want to talk first about like the Master Ignition sessions. I offer to the first wave members, come see the baby people, the opportunity to come for a Master Ignition to really own their superpowers and inhabit them and unleash them in their energy system, their body, their mind, and their lives. And I, as well as the participants in this, the Galactic Council members, were blown away by the power of letting ourselves play in the imagination. Like, we'd have no issue as a 5-year-old saying, like, I'll be Superman. Oh, I'm going to be Swamp Monster, and,
That's right.
to come up with their own, but there is a hesitancy. There's almost a veil between our adulthood. Like when we say unadulterated, I think like that word comes from, because we simmer that great shit down when we adulterate it, and we want to unadulterate it and bring the childlike wisdom in it. One of the members of the Galactic Council of Women was the first person to have like a Master Ignition session, and his Galactic Council title or name or superpower is Montana Beastmaster.
Woo!
And it fits him to a T.
I love that.
Like, and that is, he lives a life of taming the beasts of separateness. And he's from Montana, so, which is a crazy great place. So what people experience in that is being in the space of either with me individually or in the group forum of opening up to an energy that dissolves shame and limitations, like blowing through a gossamer or blowing dandelion seeds off, like just so quickly and instantly. And it's always an amazing experience. It's always limited mind blowing. And then I see what they're doing in their lives and what they're feeling, and I'm like, wow. And then the other great forum that we're enlisting or creating and highlighting are member spotlights. So right now, the Galactic Council of Women lives in the cyberspace of the mighty networks. And I joined a group called the Embodied Allies, run by Gigi Song. And that's how I found the Mighty Network. She is a woman of color who started a forum for white women, really, to be educated about what people of color are talking about, know, and what I haven't been aware of. And so we get to pay a yearly fee and be part of just a rush of support that she brings in. And I have met so many amazing people through that, including Elise Preston of Human Design, who I now am a student of. And so she houses the Embodied Allied group on the Mighty Networks. And when Helen Bradley, the galactic midwife of the Galactic Council, researched this for me, we found a forum, an interactive forum where members can share things and I can share things, and we can highlight one another. And it needs more energy and juice right now. And so partly because I was incubating this, I was like a caterpillar and a chrysalis last month and a half as the energy was going supernova for this explosion in September, which I always knew was when we were going to show the baby to the world. The member spotlight, we have every single member of the Galactic Council of Women is an extraordinary human being. Extraordinary because it takes courage, a healthy sense of humor, and a leap of faith to say that I want to join a Galactic Council of Women, all genders welcome, because it's a ridiculous title, but it's ridiculous great. I always say, I have been saying this for years, you have only two choices, human beings. We're all crazy. Anyone that incarnates in a body and pretends they're separate until they remember that they're infinite, like what the heck? We have two choices. We can be crazy miserable or crazy happy. And the Galactic Council of Women, all genders welcome, is the living definition of crazy happy, crazy great, crazy possible. And so these people are amazing and know that they want to do anything like I did when I found out that that child might die, that they want to do anything to prevent a child from dying from hunger, from neglect, from violence, or any human being. Everyone on this planet is someone's child, is some mother's precious child, that they're willing to do that. So they all have a story and a spotlight and a mission too. Like a lot of these people, I see the Galactic Council as a three-dimensional matrix, almost like a clamshell. And each person is a point of light on that in the multi-dimensions. And I'm in the middle somewhere of this, in this ball of huge light. And everything that I get that I can flow through me, which doesn't deplete me, it flows through and enlivens me too, personally, to everyone. And what helps them then call in their own little matrix, that they are, each one of you, each Galactic Council member is creating a ripple of radiant hope, health, and happiness and possibilities for new ways of living in their own worlds and the world. It's incredible.
Wow. Well, I'm sure there's people like, where do I find out about it? The URL is right there, galacticcounciljoin.com. And I would love for people to know that for the first 11 new members that sign up, they get what you were talking about, which is a master ignition session with you, which is a 33-minute activate your superpower and get your galactic title. I can't wait for mine. Powerful exploration of what you really want and your natural power to affect immediate, lasting, positive change, which is a 3333 value, which you'll get for signing up. And then there's also a second bonus, which I can't wait to get. Do you want to share about it? And that's basically anybody who signs up within 24 hours. Those 11 spots will probably be gone really quick.
The 11 spots, I feel you already, and I'm so grateful to you because what I am feeling right now is in my solar plexus and my root chakra, my pelvic floor, waves, not just like the pleasure waves, but I'm feeling tidal waves of energy coming up. So enjoy that. But what I'm also doing is offering a mindset prosperity audio for those that sign up in the next 24 hours. And that will be your own personal, just incredible experience of receiving the truths of your unlimited prosperity. Because I want to say this most important thing. When I meditated over those many months that I was in quarantine, and when I kept thinking, I knew the Galactic Council was coming to be. It's been in the birthing process for decades, but specifically the last decade, I kept asking the question, what does the world need specifically to dissolve the divisiveness and the pain and suffering? Even the delusion that some microscopic virus is more powerful than this glorious instrument of our body and our precious immune systems, and that we can find ways to heal and things to put in our body, mainstream medicine and traditional, herbal medicine and more, that will just kickstart us and in so many great ways. I kept praying and praying, like, what is it? And what I was told, guided, is that this delusion that money, that prosperity is a limited thing, that there's a limited pie, and that only certain people can have it, is the cause. I believe that the energy that caused people to get in boats and go across the ocean and capture people and put them in holes of the ship and see who survived and to sell them in slavery came from some sort of lack of, I can't do this myself. I need more stuff. I need to create my territory bigger, so I'm going to do this horrible thing. I believe that why people subjugate whole classes and genders of people, like women or people that are trans or more, is because they think there's some sort of lack and they have to dominate over to get their limited territory and to force their way into being. And I think that nobody starves on this planet if we understand that there is absolutely no shortage of food. There's a shortage of an ability to distribute it in ways that, and I'm not making a political statement, I'm making an energetic statement that the infinite power that created the heavens and the earth wants nothing more than us to be fed the healthiest and happiest food. And that the delusion around money is just what people agree has power. And I've been saying this to my clients for years. I have led and co-led workshops on abundance. I've taken them on the road to Taos and to New Mexico. That I agree you have all the power you need plus to have anything for you. And I agree that every person does. And as we start to dissolve the delusional agreement, the collective mass hysteria that there is a limited supply of money, and we start to infuse into the market economy, how you pay for this, by the way, pay comes from the Latin to make peace.
What?
How you pay, how you circulate your Galactic Council squiggles is as important as anything else, because we are infusing into the currency of the system hope, infinite abundance, and the dissolution for once and for all of this crazy apeshit lack business. So you're going to get a mindset audio too for the first. The 11 are going to get that. I have a capacity to go on and on and on. We are going to be the Galactic Council of Women. As you join this, your energy comes and adds a potent infusion into the continual possibilities that we are going to continue to imagine and manifest. I couldn't be more enthusiastic, welcoming, hopeful, willing to generate every bit of my body, mind, and spirit to this venture and to each and one of you. I feel blessed beyond belief, but I believe it.
Awesome. Well, I feel like we're rounding the corner, and I feel like I'm supposed to ask you one more thing, and I just want to get this download, which is for people feeling called, why is now the time to say yes to this? For those who are like,
I feel that so tenderly, Jen, the power of the tenderness of why is now the time, because there is only now, first of all, like Eckhart Tolle and the power of now. There is only the eternal now that we can dive into. We literally have the ability to change the pain of the past and the trajectory of the future. And with a world that is now coming to new waves of this virus, and another year of people feeling it all, like more and more divisiveness between people, not because they're bad, even though you can prove that they're bad and all that kind of stuff. It's just that people are trying to feel how to be safe and belong and matter and cultivate a life for themselves and their families that is worthy and valuable just because we exist. What's happening is we are at a crossroads of the soul. We are in the fight of our life for a change of perspective. Yes. And I like to always change the word fight to advocate. We are we have the opportunity to advocate, which is to swim with the current of truth in natural rhythm and no longer fight upstream like those precious salmon. They get eaten so quickly by the bears, but no longer swim upstream against the current of what is true. This has to be the time for the children and the children's children. What we will be doing, especially the adults in this, whether we're parents or grandparents or aunts and uncles or not, I have felt so strongly that what the Galactic Council is growing into is like a golden river of pure energies for these new, wonderful young people, whether they're brand new teens, 20s, 30s, whatever, that they are going to be served by having that inspiration that, hey, wait a minute, I've discovered this, and humanity as a whole can agree because it no longer pits one against another. It no longer increases the haves and the have-nots. And I believe the have-nots need a lot of love too, or the haves need a lot of love too, because there is this feeling of, and I've been grateful to cultivate having squiggles, which is what I'm pouring into this now, is that we know that everyone on this planet has an effect on one another. If the virus has taught us nothing, if I had a pin in my little toe, my whole body would feel it. If a child is suffering in the Middle East, I feel that. At some level, I feel that. Yeah. I think we all know that there is not a moment that we have to swim in the quagmire of unnecessary suffering, and that never before in the history of humanity have we had a global community that can come together like the Galactic Council that busts the limitation of shame. And thank you, Brene Brown, for all the amazing things you have done with that healing, and inhabit our superpowers in the most easy, most affordable way ever. I have priced the Galactic Council in squiggles, in money agreements that are almost ridiculously low, because this is a worldwide global movement of currency that everyone can be part of, that can be on payment plans, that can come to me with whatever they need. But this is the most doable, easily accessible thing. And like Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, lick your heels 3 times and go back to your universal home. Come home from self-alienation, find real happiness, find that divinity in you, and let's live the new humanity, the new life, the new world order that thrives on the free and unhampered interplay of pure love from heart to heart.
Woo! Yes! I don't think there's anything else to say. Thank you so much, Cindy. I really appreciate just everything you're doing and what you've created, and the invitation to invite other people to create with the Galactic Council. I know I'm just cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs about digging in and all the great stuff involved. So thank you everybody for watching, for commenting. Go check out www.galacticcounciljoin.com. You will get all the details and a beautiful video with even more details about all the scrumptious offerings. Have a blessed and super galactically delicious day, and bye for now.
Love and blessings, dear people. Mwah.